Hi, guys. Welcome to Inside the Dugout with Pack. You got Coach Larry, Coach JT, and Coach Campbell here with you tonight. No special guests except for everybody on this call is special. So, Campbell, you want to get us started off? Kind of lead us into what we're going to be talking about tonight?
So tonight we're going to be talking about kind of a special scenario that coaches JT and Larry saw last weekend. So last weekend here in Colorado was it the high school state championship for softball?
Regional,
First round, yes.
regionals.
Regionals. And Coach Larry and Coach JT saw this scenario in which there was a pitcher who was just absolutely dominating. And we want to talk about, as a coach, what do you do in that scenario where you have a pitcher that's just getting strikeout after strikeout after strikeout, or they're just absolutely dominating and your players aren't even taking their bat off their shoulder anymore?
Was Campbell at the game?
I know, right?
Yeah. We didn't even tell her all that.
Oh,
Oh, you've been there before, have you, Campbell?
I've been there a few times.
Yeah, so let me give you a little context. Okay, so Coach and I have some girls that are playing on my 18U team, and they're playing in the regionals, which is the qualifier for state. And so we went out to watch one of the girls who was playing at a site up in Broomfield. And they dominated the first game. It was no problem. They shut out the other team. The second game, they were getting dominated. It was completely a reverse scenario by the team. And what we saw unfold was essentially no management of the game. So you're playing the game, and on one side, the pitcher is just getting more and more settled in. And as she does that, her confidence grows, and you can just see her confidence building as the game's going on and on. And Coach Larry and I were discussing, what do you do in this scenario? Because at some point around the fourth inning, girls stopped taking the bat off the shoulder. I mean, they were hoping that she would throw enough balls that they could get on first for a walk, and they weren't swinging. And a lot of times they were striking out looking. Occasionally, they didn't swing at the first two strikes, and they swung at the last one, which was either a changeup or a drop, something that was a little harder to hit. And so as a coach, what do you do in that scenario? And Larry, do you want to take the first stab at this?
yeah, I'd love to.
Okay.
The give a little bit more into that. That girl was dealing pretty good. She had some good stuff. I mean, she used her pitches very well. And I'm a baseball guy, and I have to applaud her for how she pitched and how she went after those batters. I mean, she had a changeup that was nasty. I mean, and she had a fastball to go with it. So when you have a fastball that you can locate where she wanted to with the changeup, it makes the pitch even more, even more better. So she was dealing it pretty good. But it's a tale of two cities there, because the first game, the team we watched was aggressive. They didn't take a lot of pitches. They swung out the first pitch a lot. They were putting the bat on the ball and putting the ball in play, i.e. that's why they won by 10 runs. Come next game, when they had to face a pitcher, that was dealing pretty good. And as a coach, it was a tight ball game going all the way to the third inning until one play that changed the whole game, the whole complex of the game. And as a coach, you try to minimize the runs in that aspect. But when you go up to as a hitter, go up to hit, there was no aggressiveness. They were, like you said, they were hoping for a ball or hoping for a walk, and that girl wasn't giving it. She was flat out first pitch strike all the time. And as a coach, you want to tell your hitters, you know what? Go up there, you see the first pitch strike, you let it go, be aggressive, take the first pitch and swing at it. You have to change up the monotony of what's happening in this game, because you guys go up there with a bat on your shoulder, strike one, strike two, and then when you get to a point you have to swing the bat, here comes that changeup with that rise ball, and you're getting dominated by it. So take that pitch out of the equation and hit the fastball, and be more aggressive, so you won't have to get those accounts that she can control what she wants to do with you guys, because she was controlling those batters. She totally was. I mean, she's using that fastball and that changeup so well. So I would just tell my hitters, go up there and be aggressive. Don't take that first pitch strike. Go up there between the bat. And if you saw when he did make some changes in that seventh inning, fifth inning, whatever it was, and he brought girls off the bench, they were aggressive, put the ball in play, and they got on base. So you got to put the ball in play, and I know what you're going to say next. Put the ball in play and see what the defense does. Because if you make the defense make a play and they mess up, now you're on the base and now you win.
Yeah, and it's really about it. If I'll ask you this question, Campbell. If I'm a coach and my team is being dominated by this pitcher, think about the key points that Larry said there. Control. She's in control, right? She's throwing her pitches when she wants to throw them, where she wants to throw them. And the batters are allowing her to do that. And a lot of young coaches just think, oh, we just got dominated by this girl. And they don't realize that in order to change that, you have to actually coach your team through that, because if you allow her to continue to control the game, she will only get better and better as it goes on, because her confidence and understanding of the hitters is getting better and better. And she's basically saying, I'm going to throw you 2 strikes because I know you're not going to swing at them. And then when you do swing at the third one, I'm going to throw you something that's out of the zone. And whether that's a rise ball or a drop ball or a changeup, and you're going to miss it because you're going to be so off from having seen those first 2 fastballs. But I've got you exactly where I want you, and I'm going to do that. And that's kind of a mental thing, kind of a physical thing. And the question is, as a coach, what do I do about that? And Larry hit the nail on the head when he said, swing at the first pitch. I will say it seems to be less challenging for me to get baseball players to do that than softball players. As a whole, not every one of them, because I do have some that are pretty aggressive, but as a whole, they seem to be more prone to letting that first pitch go by. And whether that's them trying to assess the speed or get an idea of what she's throwing or whatever that is, in most scenarios, that's probably okay. But if my team is struggling with a pitcher like that, there's 2 things that I'll do. Number 1, I will remove the decision. So I say, okay, this inning, you swing at the first pitch, or I pull you out of the game. Because I need people who are willing to do what this team needs to get done. Number 2, I will have them bunt. And the reason I do that is now the ball's getting in play, and girls have to do something. Because we watched 4 innings in a row where the defense didn't do anything but high-five the pitcher. That was their entire role in the game. There was a pitcher and a catcher, and there were all these batters that were just watching strike 1 and strike 2 and then swinging at a really good pitch if you're the pitcher, a really bad pitch if you're the batter, because that was the control that she had. And so in some scenarios, like that, sometimes I got to force the hand of the player in order to break up that mindset, because right now they're sitting in the dugout thinking, oh my God, she's striking everybody out. She's so good. We can't do this. And the reality is a good pitcher like that may beat you every once in a while, but you're in a playoff game, right? A regional game, and you are a good team or you wouldn't be in that game. Chances are, if you take a different approach like Coach Larry was talking about, like I just mentioned, you'll start hitting her. I mean, and if you're a player listening to what I'm saying right now, well, what if she's really good? I mean, that girl was so good. Yes, but so are you. That's
Yeah.
why you're in this
Sure.
game.
Yep.
It's not like it's the first game of the season and you're the worst team and they're the best team. No, you're in a regional qualifying round. I mean, you're there because you're one of the top teams. And like Coach Larry said, in this particular instance, the game before, they had an entirely different approach. It was swinging first pitch almost every time, definitely on the second pitch if the first one was a strike. And the ball got in play, and the other team made a couple errors every once in a while, but there were a lot of hits.
Well,
And
Coach, the first inning. I'm sorry, Coach, but the first inning they scored what, 8 runs, 9 runs.
eight runs in the first inning.
They went to the whole lineup.
Yeah,
Everybody was having a good time.
yeah,
Exactly.
yeah.
So,
And this was the same exact team, only 45 minutes later, an hour later. So you know they're good. You saw it.
let me ask you a question, Fast. Did you ever once see any of those girls, if you're getting beat by a fastball, would you scoot up in the box or would you scoot back in the box? Do you want to see the ball longer and see where it's coming from, or do you want to be up in the box? Not one of those girls made an adjustment. So that's another thing. Adjust to what you're seeing. If the ball's dropping, move in the box. The ball's rising, move in the box. You catch it right here. But if it's a fastball and you're getting beat by a fastball, which that's what they were getting beat by, move back in the box. See it longer. But that's what I'm saying about coaching. You said you have to coach these kids. They're so young still. You gotta give them a little heads up. Hey, maybe scoot back in the box. You know, if it's a fastball and you can't recognize the fastball or where it's coming from, move back in the box. See a little bit longer. And that's what you're saying about shoot them up.
Yeah, they'll just stand there and put hands up and give up, because then what are you telling the team?
Exactly. And you know what happens, Coach? Because we saw it with the other team too. What happens when that team gets success? What happens to the girls or the guys and the fans? What happens? A little bit more of this, and you're worried about that more than worried about how you're going to get the girls better on adjusting to this pitcher. Because you know what? A few hits here and there would quiet a lot of people down, right? It would quiet a lot of those coaches, a lot of those fans down, and like that. But if you allow the chaos to happen, chaos is going to happen. I mean, that's what happened. That's what we saw.
Yeah, and you actually brought up a good point. So what he's talking about is the head coach, instead of coaching up his girls, and it was interesting, even in between innings, he didn't coach up his girls. But instead of worrying about coaching them up, he goes over to third base coach, and he's worried about what the dugout's saying. And it wasn't like they were being mean. They were just chanting really loud because they were super excited. I didn't hear anything. I don't know if you did, Coach. I didn't hear anything that was really negative. It was more cheering for their team. And he was concerned about their volume and talking to the umpire about that, as opposed to, like, how do I get that kind of excitement, that level of excitement, how do I get that in my girls? Because right now, I mean, you saw it in their faces, in their demeanor, in their body, how they approached the on-deck circle. They didn't even look at their parents. Then they went up to hit. It was like they were assuming they were going to get out. And, geez, I really hope she actually walks me. And a few of them did get walked, but you're not going to win a game like that.
No, not at all. I mean, I've been in many part of those games that on both ends, you know, but it's funny how when things are going good, everybody's happy, go lucky, and the minute things go bad, man, every little things. But I always tell my players, you can control what you can control. Control your emotions, your attitude, your mouth. Don't let what they're saying over there dictate how you're going to play this ball game, because we're right in the game. We're not out of this game by any means. A base hit here and there, and now we're back in this ball game. But if you allow the chaos to happen, you allow to listen to that chatter from everybody from the dugout to the parrot in left field, and you get good ears, you hear that lady talk, then something's wrong. Something is definitely wrong. You know what I'm saying? And that's all about just coaching. I mean, it's going to happen. You're going to come up one of these days to a pitcher that's dominating the game. If you just change the path and change what's happening, lots of good things can happen. You may not win the game still, but when the game is like the Broncos, for instance, the Broncos was down by what, 19-0 in the fourth quarter, and they finally scored a touchdown. They scored 33 points in one quarter. I mean, that's unheard of.
To win the game.
To win the ball game at the last second. Those guys weren't listening to the boos. We're listening to what they're talking about. They're listening about what they can control. They controlled the offense, they controlled the defense, and they won the game. And the same thing with anything else you do. You control what you can control. And if that pitcher's dealing, scoot back in the box. See it longer. If she had a good riser, scoot up in the box. That box is there for a reason, not for you to stay in that same spot over and over again.
Yeah, that drives me nuts. I'll watch a team over the course of a weekend in a tournament, and they'll be getting beat up. And I'm looking over there, and there's no adjustments being made. The coach is doing a disservice by allowing these players to continue to have the same approach. That's not working. It's like the definition of insanity. I'm just going to keep doing this even though it's not working. You know, you've got to, as a coach, be willing to and able to lead your team through that. And if you have an established trust and rapport with your team prior to a game like that, you're probably not even going to be able to do that. And some of the ways that you can do it is if you say, you know what, if you don't swing at this first pitch, I'm going to pull you out of the game. You don't necessarily need trust for that. That isn't the first thing I would recommend, but there are times I have used that because it can be a motivator, right? You do that to one girl and no one else does it. Okay, I guess we got to swing. And guess what? You start hitting the ball. And then you're like, oh, this girl's not as good as she looks. And then she has to start changing her approach. And next thing you go, you got 2 base runners, 3 base runners. You got to run now. And when you're playing like the qualifier round, so it wasn't single elimination. It was actually double elimination. So even in a game like that, if you can find a way to start to build the girls back up and get them scoring runs or at least getting on base, like Coach Larry said, you may not win. You may win. You could surprise yourself. You may not win, but that momentum you can use going into the next game. And that next game in this scenario was an elimination game.
They win that game?
Yeah, they did win it. So they are.
So, okay, better yet. So you're playing this team that's dominating you, and it's a playoff round. So you're going to be seeing these girls again in the tournament. So if you already got beat mentally the first game, how are you going to feel like going to the next if you see them again in the state tournament?
Oh, if you draw their number again?
Exactly. It's like the whole analogy of Rocky IV with Ivan Drago. He's like a piece of iron because he finally hit him and he drew blood. And I got hit and now I'm bleeding. The same thing with that girl. It's 9-0. But if you would have made it 9-2, 9-4, even 9-1, but you made her not like she's just dominating you and you just finally hit her. And you finally got to what she was at. And now you guys come next week and you guys draw those girls in the round 16. Now you have confidence going there. We can hit this girl. We already did. Did they play those girls during the season? They beat them.
Yep.
So I mean, that girl wasn't like she was just dominating like she should have. You just let everything else get too big. The game was too fast for you. Slow it down. Sit back. Get out of the box. Take a few swings and have an approach of what are you going to be doing. What is my approach? I'm going to swing the first pitch fastball. I'm going to swing at it. Boom. Now you got an approach. But if you're going up there and I don't want to strike out, and now I got beat. Now by the time you realize it's already 0-2, here comes the the changeup or the slider, we saw it coming. We knew it was coming every time, right? We called it. And it wasn't like it was chemistry like that. It was just we knew it was coming because she had a rhythm with that pitch. Changed every single time. And those girls had no chance. As a coach, what are you sitting at the box for? What? Like I told you, I don't sit in that little square box. There's no way. I'm up, I'm moving, walking around, watching my girls swing. I'm always engaged. You have to be engaged, and I'm watching that picture and see what she's doing. So then, if I find something that she's doing that tips something off, I'm going to dug out next thing and say, hey, watch when she does this. If she does this, she's tipping it off. So you know that's going to happen. You don't just sit in the box and hope somebody comes to see you and you talk to them and give them a high five. No, you're coaching. That's why your name is a coach. Sorry.
I love it. This actually brings up a situation that did happen. So Miley was playing on this Revolution ball team, and the coach is a dad, and this was her final year playing in comp before she headed to college, and she wanted me to be a dad, not a coach. Well, they're playing in this tournament, and this girl is doing exactly what this is. So she got in a rhythm. If she got 2 strikes on you, it was a changeup coming every single time, and she was getting the girls exactly like this girl was on Friday of last week. And so I went out to the coach, and I said, look, I know the girls are struggling to hit. Can I offer you a suggestion? And of course he's like, yeah, I don't know why they can't hit, da, da, da. And he starts telling me all the reasons why they can't hit and all that stuff. And I said, I know exactly what you need to do. And he's like, okay, what? Her first pitch is always a fastball down the middle because you teach these girls to take that pitch, and she knows that. This is the 3rd tournament we faced these guys. Okay, it's not the first time. And they know that that's what you're teaching them. So now you need to first tell the girls, I want you first pitch swinging. I want you to attack that ball on the first pitch. Second, if you have 2 strikes, move up in the box and hit the ball to right. Move up in the box and hit the ball to right. What's that going to do, Coach? Are they going to be able to hit the changeup if that's how they're feeling about it?
Yeah.
Because they're going to have plenty of time to recognize it, and they're going to hit the crap out of it. And those girls scored 9 runs in the last 2 innings of that game on the same girl who shut them out for the first 5.
Yeah. Yeah. If she has a great changeup or a great off-speed pitch, if you go up the bat saying, this is what's going to pitch every single time, you will hit everything. You hit a fastball because you're looking at the fastball and you're going to see that changeup. So it's that whole thing. Sit fastball, just a change, or just a curveball, whatever it may be. You can see it, and that approach was really good. And it makes sense. It really does. And don't get me wrong, Coach. Those girls we watched play did a hell of a job. I'm very proud of those girls. It was fun watching them. I'm glad they made it to the next round of the playoffs. Good luck and do what you need to go do. But just know that girl didn't dominate you because you guys weren't better than she was. You guys just weren't being aggressive enough to compete at that next level with that girl. And you will see her again. I promise you that. You will see that team again, and hopefully it will be different. It will be a different result than it was on Friday night because you have a good team. We saw that team the first week of the season, right? And we're like, whoa. And then we see them on Friday, and it was a totally different team. And I'm like,
totally.
They had some ballers, Coach. They had some. I enjoyed watching. Now, I'm not a softball guy, you know that. And all of a sudden, I hear people doing cheers. And I'm like, what the heck's going on here? And I was like, whoa, that is too much, man. I mean, yeah, different cheers for a swing pitch or whatever. I don't know. It was weird. But it was fun watching them play. It was fun watching them compete. And there were some girls on there that can play. There really was. And I'm excited to see, what they do at the next level. And I mean, this next weekend. And because we are from Parker and we want to support the local teams. And it was fun to watch them girls play.
Heck yeah, I love it. So Coach and I went over a lot of things here, Campbell. As somebody who was just kind of listening to all that, is there something we missed or something maybe you didn't understand from what we said that would help shed some light on some of these coaches that are new to the community?
No, I think everything you said was great. The only thing I would say is it's like for me, I'm in a very unique situation where since I have a club team, half of my team has never played baseball before, and half of them have played baseball their whole life, and they're pretty decent at baseball. Um, and so in some of those situations, when my guys go out there and there's a pitcher that's just absolutely shutting us down, what I tell some of my guys is, you know what? I don't care if you go up there and strike out, but if you strike out, it better be a strikeout swinging. Like that bat better come off of your shoulder. I will be happy and I will be a proud mom if your bat comes off of your shoulder during this at bat. And usually what happens is they'll come back into the dugout, because they struck out, but they struck out swinging. They're like, I did it. I did it. I got my bat off my shoulder. And I'm like, yeah, you did. And you know what? That's a great start. That's where we're going to start building off of. And then sometimes you have the guy who gets the occasional, he actually makes contact, like accidental contact, and he'll get on first. And that's all we needed to get going. But, that's just all I do. I'm like, hey, you know what? I don't care if you go out there and strike out. I want it to be a strikeout swinging. I want that bat off of your shoulder. And usually that's all it takes to get guys to start swinging the bat. And then all of a sudden they're like, oh, we can make contact against this pitcher. Oh, we can get on first. Oh, you know what? Once we get on first, their defense isn't very good. We can steal bases. And usually that's all it takes to get out of that.
You will strike out 100% of the time if you don't swing.
Oh my
Exactly.
God, yes. I tell you guys a funny story. I feel like it's relevant here. So I had a young team when Miley was just in her second year at Campbell, and one of the girls on the team would not. It didn't matter what I said, Coach. I could not get her to take the bat off her shoulder. So I said, I got to do something radical here. And as a coach, you got to do something radical sometimes. So I said, she's getting ready to go into the box. And I said, give me your bat. She's like, what? I'm like, give me your bat. And I said, this is a $500 bat. I think I'm going to hold on to it since you're not going to use it. And she's like, so confused. Like, what do you mean I can't go up to bat without a bat? Well, you do it all the time. Your bat has not been swung through the zone in the last 6 at bats. Your bat's not doing anything. I'm just going to hold it for you. And she's looking at me like, what? And then she's looking at the umpire, and the umpire's like, I don't know, you got to get in the box. You got a bat. And she was so confused. And then I said, look, I will give you this bat. But this bat has feelings, and right now they're hurt. And I appreciate this bat a lot more than you do. This bat was made to hit the ball, but if you never swing it, it is impossible for this bat to hit the ball. I will give this back to you, and I don't care what she throws. I need you to swing this bat 3 times. And she's like, just give me the bat, Coach. She goes up there and she's a little bit angry, a little bit confused, and she swings the bat at the first pitch, and she got a base hit over the second baseman's head. Her first hit ever, Coach. And I was like, you never know what you can do until you do it, right? I mean, She was so confused. The umpire was confused. The catcher was confused. They're like, what do you mean? She needs a bat. But it was so awesome.
You took the monotony of her striking out.
Even better than that, her mom came up to me crying, gave me this great big hug after the game, like, oh, I can't believe she swung the bat and she got a hit. And actually, she never was a great player after that, but she got several more hits and she swung the bat. Every time she got in, she swung the bat. Not at every pitch, but she now knew that she could do it. And sometimes it's just, you're a coach. You make stuff up sometimes. You're just like, okay, I think this might work. And I think that I talked about it one time. I had a young man who was afraid of the ball, and he would always pretend like he got hurt if he missed it in the outfield, but he was super fast. He had a strong arm, and I really needed him there. And so and I probably already told this story on the podcast, but he tripped up and then missed the ball. And it was pretty obvious that he missed the ball and then sort of tripped up, intentionally. And so I said, time out. I got to go check him out. And the umpire was like, sure, time. So I sprint out to center field. I put this young man over my shoulder and sprint back to the dugout. He's like, oh, I'm fine, coach. I'm fine. I'm like, no. You're obviously really hurt. We got to get you in here. We got to call 911. We got to get the ambulance. This is a big deal. And I'm making this huge deal. And everybody's like, what the hell is going on right now? And I put him in there. Are you okay? And the umpire's like, are we going to get somebody else out there? Oh, yeah. So I sent somebody else up. I'm sorry. Bench coach, I can't remember his name. Dave, Matt. Matt, can you take my spot out there? I've got to attend to Alan. I've got to take care of him. Do you think that kid in the next year, or actually, I think I had him for 2 years. Do you think he ever, even if he got hurt, he wouldn't let you know it? Never again. And he turned out to be an awesome center fielder. He went on it. He played at Smoky Hill, and he ended up going to a JUCO in Texas, which is pretty impressive. Texas, getting to a JUCO in Texas when you're not from Texas is really hard.
Yep.
But it's retarded, right? Whatever I did, that wouldn't make sense. You wouldn't plan to do something like that. But sometimes, and I think you said it earlier, Coach, it's breaking up the monotony. If this thing is happening, they get in their heads and they think, oh my God, I can't hit, or this girl is so good, or they're so much better than me. And then you go, it's like with the girls, I'm always talking about, well, you like dating, right? So if you really like that guy, chances are he really likes you, but you're both so nervous you can't go talk to each other. So why don't you just go talk to him? And in 5 seconds, you'll know the answer, right? And you won't be afraid anymore, because when you get into action, the fear goes away. The fear is something that exists in the in-between, before the pitch comes, or before you take the swing, or before you throw, or before you walk over and ask the girl out. That's where the fear exists. The fear is not in asking the girl out or hitting the ball. Once you start your swing, you're not afraid of nothing. You're swinging.
Fear is not knowing. And in this instant, like when we do baseball, we chart pitches, so we know what they're doing. Their first pitch has been a fastball. The last 8 out of 10 batters, what are you going to get? A fastball. If you know it's coming, it makes it that much easier. That's why Astros won back-to-back World Series, because they knew what's coming. It wasn't always the best way, but they knew what was coming by a trash can, or by this, or by that. But if you know what pitch is coming, it's that much easier for you to hit that ball, and that's what it is. But so let's say you don't know, you don't have a trash can in the dugout that know the pitches. What do we see? What do we see, Coach? The first game from the team from Western Slope doing to the play call. I would love to see what they were charting, how they had it charted, because it was pretty intense. Because he knew what they were coming. Were they not?
Oh yeah, he definitely was. It was interesting. So the guy who was calling the pitches for the other team was the first base coach, and our team was on the first base side. And every time the pitching coach would call out the pitch in softball, it's 3-2-1, 5-4-4, 6-1-1, whatever it is on their chart. He would write it down. Then he would watch the pitch and he would write down what the pitch was next to it. And he did that. And then, you could see, because we were watching him, you could see he would hear the number. He must have already had it written down. And then it was that pitch. And he's like, okay. And then he would just kind of circle it.
Yeah.
Because he knew he had it.
And I was telling Coach, I'm like, this is not a hard game to get the signs. I mean, this game is about cheating. I mean, you lead off in baseball. You as a hitter, you're trying to hit this little ball that's going 100 miles an hour. The pitcher has all the advantage over you. So you gotta get every little bit of ounce of ability to hit this ball the way you need to do it. So as a player, as a hitter, as a coach, you'd watch that pitcher and find every little thing that she's doing that you could take back to your team and say, hey, she's either doing this or doing that, because they're yelling changeup and they still missed the ball. I mean, you know what I'm saying? I mean, they didn't swing at it. Yeah. The other team did the same thing they're doing, and they got the calls too, and they're calling it, and they're still getting beat because they just didn't know, they didn't have the right mindset to go up there and get that ball. They just didn't have the right mindset. But as a player and as a coach, you find those little things that they're doing, and as a coach, I could easily beat that what they're doing. Like I was telling Coach T, I'm old fashioned. I do the hand signs, I do this, you do that. But you could do it in different ways. You can move back in the box in certain innings, or you can have a different indicator to get the play started. I mean, there's so many different ways you can do this to make it easy that pitcher over there or that coach over there don't have an idea what he was going to do. And I love it when they try to get your signs, because then I bring in two other coaches or two other players, and I'm giving their signs, and they're giving signs, and one of us is the hot guy, and the other two are decoys. And when they mess up the play call, it's the best thing in the world, because they don't have a chance in the world. I mean, they don't have a chance. When they don't have a clue who's calling the plays or who's calling the pitches, I mean, it's the best thing for you, because now you're giving this guy a fastball and really the changeup. And I love it. I mean, it's a fun game, because you know why it is? It's mental. 95% mental in this game, 5% physical. So if you can outsmart, like, as a coach, I know 3 plays in advance what I'm going to do. If I bunt this guy, it's going boom, boom, boom. It's a chess match. That's all it is. And I'm playing checkers or chess with the other coach. Who's better? You know what I'm saying? Here's my team. I get him prepared for this week's game. How am I going to beat this other coach? Because that's what he's doing too. He has his lineup, all his stuff on the marker on the wall. What he's doing, it is a chess match on who's going to put the right pieces in the right spot at this time. That's all it is. And right now, you're seeing it right now in the playoffs. I mean, now you have Toronto Blue Jays and the Mariners going at it in Game 7 to see who's going to face the Dodgers in the World Series. And those coaches have full arsenal of pitchers go at this game tonight. All starters and all relievers. There's no bench today. You're playing everybody, because you got to win one game. That's it. And that's where it gets fun. Now you see these coaches and these managers going, what am I going to do when Vladimir Guerrero gets the bat? Am I going to go righty on righty? But if I do that, then I have lefty on lefty coming up next. What am I going to do? That's why, as coaches, it's a chess match, man. That's what's so much fun about baseball is you control the outcome of the game by controlling the game itself. It's a game inside a game. That makes sense.
I think if we had a theme for tonight, it would be control. So you either have it or you don't. If you have control, better chance of winning, right? If you relinquish your control to the other team or to the other pitcher or to the other batters, now they have control. And I say it that way because it's always up to you. It's always up to you. Somebody else, nobody else. My mom can't control me. Can she ask me to do things and I'll probably do them? Yes. But she can't physically do them for me. If it's my thing, I got to do it. So even some of the tips I gave you tonight are controlling, but that batter still has to go in the box and do their job. I can't do it for them. So if anything, even if you're a new coach and you're wondering, how do I win more games? Figure out how to take back your control. And you'll win a lot of games.
Well, and I think like we talk about a lot that this game, when it really boils down to it, it's just a game. And like ultimately what you want to do is you want to have fun. And I think when you're out there, when you're having fun, that's when you're in control of that game. So like this weekend, we were just we were in South Dakota this past weekend playing South Dakota School of Mines, and we were having so much fun. And like we kept making jokes, and like there was one point where Franklin was out on the mound pitching, and we just kept telling him from the dugout, we were like, "Hey, Franklin, smile, smile, Franklin," because the joke of the weekend was that Franklin pitches better when he's smiling, and he was dealing, and it was because he was smiling. Or like, um, Woody had, I think, two or three at bats this whole weekend. He's one of those guys who's never played baseball before, and he struck out both at bats. But we were all so happy for him because he swung the bat. He really wanted to get a hit. He was out there to get a hit. He was swinging the bat, and we put him out in right field, and he got his first career catch out in right field.
Nice.
And so we were just all so proud of him.
Yeah.
Stuff, man.
Yeah.
Amen. I love it. I love it when you say stuff like that. That's what it's all about, man. And this is actually not even just a secret to baseball or softball. This is a secret to life, man. But if you can be happy in any situation, regardless of what's happening to you, the situation becomes lighter.
I hope so.
In my girls, and Campbell can attest this, the way I handle adversity is much different than they do. The first thing that comes out of my mouth is some sort of joke. Oh, the car just broke down and that's going to cost us thousands of dollars. Oh, well, it could have been worse. We could have went off a cliff. We're here. We're all safe. Whatever. Or I make some sort of sarcastic joke, and for some reason I'm having trouble thinking of one here. But that's how I handle it, right, Campbell? Somebody comes to me and says, my financial aid didn't go through, and I'm freaked out because I'm starting school and I got to pay rent. And I got to do all this stuff, and I'm like, wow. Sounds exciting. It must be about time to start school. Are you ready for school? And you just, it's not about what happens to you on the field, off the field, whatever. It's about how you respond to it. And most people don't respond. Most people react. They give no thought whatsoever to anything. They just react. And if you are going to be one of those people that just reacts, I say everything in your life will change, including on the field, if you react. Train yourself to react differently. And my first thought on everything is I tell a joke and I laugh. Oh, man, this guy just said he's not going to give us $100 million for this development. Well, I guess he's not the right fit for the pack. We need a better member of our family. What do you think? And not everybody handles it that way. And it's a beautiful sight to see when somebody does, because you've just taken everything out of it. So I'll give you an example. When Miley, my middle daughter who plays softball now, was in college, she was just a little girl, and she was always getting hurt. I mean, she was like me when I was a kid. I tripped everywhere. I hit everything. My head is as big as it is now. My mom is convinced because of how many times I hit it. And Miley's much the same way. And so there was a point, and you can correct me if I'm wrong on this, because I think you might remember better than me, Campbell, but there was a point where we said, look, we've got to assign levels to this, because you're only allowed to scream or cry for help so many times a day. So, and I can't remember if it was 3 times or 1 time or whatever it was. You only have that. And so I want you first, when something happens, to decide, is it worth it? Is it worth spending that help call on this event? And so it was so awesome because all you ever heard after that is she would crash and we'd be like waiting for the cry or the reaction. And all you would hear is, I'm okay. I'm okay. I'm okay. Because as soon as she started thinking about it, she was like, actually, and if you were watching her when it happened, it was beautiful to see because she would actually think about what just happened and be like, oh, I'm okay. And now she's so tough. And I think it has to do with that because she's like, I'm okay. It's not that big of a deal.
I think as a coach, not every move you're going to do is right. Not every move is going to work. You have to pivot. And you just find that one thing that works for you and you go with it. And you find that one way of coaching. Not every style is going to be the same. My style is not the same as your style, and vice versa. And the people that are on this podcast with us, that's listening to us, it's not like you're going to have your own way of coaching too. We're just here to help you shine a little bit of light on what happened to us when we're coaching, and you will find your way. You will find your mantra, how you're going to want to coach your team, and what's going to work for your team. Because not every player is the same. You have to coach kids differently. Everyone's going to be coached differently, and you will find your way of coaching, and you will be the best coach out there. Because, like I said, once you touch a kid's life and you see how it affects them and how they perform on the field, your team does. It is one of the best feelings in the world. I.e. Campbell with your player in right field this weekend catching his very first catch. I bet you were probably his biggest cheerleader because you knew how hard it was for him to do that, and he got it done. Or striking out, and it wasn't like he just struck out because he was a failure. He struck out because he just missed the pitch, and he may not miss it next time. But by you doing what you're doing, you're giving that boy confidence to go out into the next week and play again, and maybe he does get a foul tip, or maybe he does get a hit, and that's another positive for him. So, you know what? A lot of good stuff, man. Like I said, that kid's going to remember that catch forever. It really, really, really is, because it meant so much to him.
Yeah. Absolutely.
It's a good discussion today. Good job.
Yeah, I love it. It's funny because sometimes we get on these calls before we start recording and we're like, what are we going to talk about? We have no idea. And then always it sort of naturally flows into something that we know has changed the way we coach and approach the game and management of the game. And always it's something that's going to help somebody. And that's what I love about it.
And it's right now, Coach, it's 3-1 Mariners.
So you're saying we're going to Seattle?
We're going to Seattle into a sweep.
Hey, it's only bottom five. It's only bottom five.
I'm being positive, Campbell. Being positive.
Yes. All right, Campbell. Have we satisfied you with our answers in our discussion today?
Yes, you have.
All right. Well, then I say that we can probably conclude this if you guys are okay with that and go watch that playoff game.
Yes, thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you, everybody. Thank you for listening, and thank you all for being here, being a part of this community. And please, if you have any questions about today or any of our previous episodes, send them in to us, and we will get all of those questions answered on Wednesday for Chalk Talk Wednesdays.
Yeah, and you can always jump on this call live with us. Don't forget that. Go to your calendar in your account and click on that and register for this live call. But not only that, you can always direct message either Coach Larry or Coach JT, myself, or Coach Campbell, and we'll get back to you and help you and guide you and do whatever you need. But send your questions in. I mean, we love talking, obviously. We love talking to each other because these become such wonderful discussions, but we're here for you. We want to help you. We want you to get better. We want to answer the questions that you have. And I promise you we can do that between the three of us. You just got to send them in and join the discussion. All right, guys. Another fantastic night. Thanks for being inside the dugout with Coaches Campbell, Coaches Larry, and Coach JT. And again, like I usually do, maybe not always, but I usually do. Campbell, you're amazing. You're just a shining star and a bright light in this discussion always. Congratulations on your winning weekend. Larry, it was amazing to watch you out there in the field today, and I cannot wait to see you with your team this fall. So thank you guys. Another great call, and we'll see you next time.
Thank you.